This is your pool party captain, Randy Fitzsimmons, and you're listening to the Game Changer Podcast. Pew pew!
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Nate the Great!
Hello there, my name is NateFNGreat, and welcome to the Game Changer Podcast, where I look to change up the game one moment at a time. It's been a while since I've done one of these, and honestly guys, it's just been a really crazy time for me with work, spending time with family, getting the chance to work out again, and also been losing a bit of weight. I have also just finished my car payment, so I now own my car, but everybody seemingly has the same option where they've been telling me definitely have a savings account ready to save up for when your car starts to go to shit. That's not a problem. I've had a savings account for quite a while, so I am totally fine. But all that aside, let's talk about today's episode, in which I am going to be talking about a film by the one and only, the legend known as Don Bluth. And a lot of people should really recognize that name because he is a creator of a lot of great animated films. A lot of people don't know that he actually worked with Disney before creating some of the films on his own, but some of the films that he has been very notable for have been All Dogs Go to Heaven, American Tail, Land Before Time. Those three movies definitely come to mind when you think about his great works. Some people would say his meh works were definitely Anastasia. You know what? One other great work was The Secret of Nim. I definitely need to put that there as well. I would say Anastasia is pretty meh, to say the least. I enjoy it. I don't see any real issue with it. Although combining Russia with magic is an interesting choice. And then you have some of the movies that just barely seem to get off the ground. One of which I'm going to be talking about is The Pebble and The Penguin. Now, to be fair, Don Bluth actually wanted out of this movie when the studio really started to take over his creative licensing. As soon as he knew that he was probably not going to get the vision that he had hoped for, he definitely wanted out. So much so that he didn't want his name to be put on this movie. But unfortunately, it's on there. Now, I could go into great detail as to why this movie is not the best, but I also can say that it did stand out to me as a kid, and it definitely was one of those movies that I enjoyed as a child. As I got older, I definitely did see the issues with it. And the problem is that there were so many great actors that were involved with this. Three of the big ones being Tim Curry, James Belushi, and Martin Short. You have those three very talented guys that just got a script that was just very, just not that good at all. So I could go into the detail of what the story was about, but instead I'm going to actually rewrite the movie itself. And hopefully I do give as much credit to Don Bluth as I can when it comes to this movie. I also do want to do this movie justice because there is a story in there that can be told. The problem is it was just told very shittily. So how would I write The Pebble and The Penguin? Well, first of all, the one thing that I would take out is that there is a narrator at the start of it. Ixnay that. I really do not think that is necessary. I think it actually more takes away from the movie. So the narrator is actually be taken out. And instead, you're going to get words on the screen that talks about the whole tradition of the penguins and how they mate for life. I know that seems a bit redundant because a lot of movies have done that. But at the same time, it's just one of those things where it doesn't need to be fully explained. You just kind of leave maybe like a small paragraph in there, and you move on from that. And the first thing that we see are two adult penguins getting married. The presentation of the Pebble. These two are, in love, and they stayed, and they're obviously getting married. Two little penguins named Hubie and Marina are watching this, and both of them have different kind of reactions. Marina is really into the idea of finding her true love and knowing that she's going to be married. Well, Hubie is a little awkward, but he's also just like, ew, no, that's not for me. Kid stuff. You kind of make them kids, and they're going to relate with them right off the bat. Which brings into the first song, Now and Forever. How they did in the original movie was interesting. They did incorporate some of Don Bluth animation with that. This one, I don't really think you need to do that. Basically, Now and Forever is a song talking about how a small stone means so much. And that's really how this lyric should really be. If you listen to the original, it can be kind of iffy, per se, but it's also one of those things where you get the point that this pebble presented to the right person means love now and forever. So you have that song playing, but you also see Hubie and Marina slowly growing together. We're actually building a relationship between the two of them instead of it being a weird kind of one-off deal between the two of them. The love story in the original was really weird and really off. So why not actually develop a bit of a relationship between the two penguins? Have it be a situation where the two grow up with each other, they get to know each other better, they know each other best, and they fall in love. And that's kind of like how the story goes. And that is how the story is going to go. But, of course, with a lot of love situations, there are going to be twists and turns. Obviously, as you see time goes on, Marina does not really want it to be just any penguin that she falls in love with, which makes her different. Understandably so. With Hubie, he starts to really enjoy the company that he has with Marina and eventually really falls in love with her to a point that we actually see a scene where he hides what he finds to be a perfect pebble away, so that way when the time is right, he will go and find it and he will present it to Marina and they will get married. Now, as this song is going, we do have the introduction of Drake, which honestly, I love this Drake character played by Tim Curry. I would not change that much about him. But one thing, really, you should really give him a bit of a Gaston type of feel. Yes, he likes Marina because she's the most beautiful penguin in all the land, therefore he should be with her, that kind of deal. That's fine. And he thinks that, he's going to make the perfect babies with her, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And, of course, he knows about Hubie. So, he has to eliminate Hubie or find ways to derail Hubie to ensure that he gets Marina to himself. As it happens, the pebble does, in fact, get stolen by the henchmen, and Drake can have that in his possession for the right time where he presents it to Marina. Now, after Now and Forever has been taken place, and I might have went a little bit too far into the story, but that's fine. It's whatever. Marina and Hubie are now adults, and they enjoy each other's company, but they've never officially gone on a date. And that's where I would incorporate this scene where they are actually on the ledge and they're just talking to each other. Let this be the scene where they actually start feeling sparks flying. And I would incorporate the song Sometimes I Wonder, but less bad say the least. I mean, the first lyric you have, sometimes I wonder what the colors mean, why the sea is green, like your eyes. Just make it better. Rewrite the lyrics. It's a song where Hubie is kind of showing the fact that, yes, he is also different. He doesn't think the same way as a lot of other penguins do, where they think about, having great bods or great hairstyles. Yes, it's a cartoon. Shut up. He more thinks about some of the simpler things in life. Why do some of these things happen? But don't make it stupid reasons. Make it reasons where it's like, wow, what is it like, why is, the sea like this way? And some of these things can obviously be cheesy lines that he can definitely use to compliment Marina, because it's something that would work for him. He's awkward, but he also has charm to him. He's bizarre, but he's not too bizarre to where you're like, oh, keep away from me. He's kind of like, I'm kind of more interested in seeing how his character goes. So after that song has taken place, Hubie has realized, okay, now's the moment. Let me go find that pebble to find out that it's lost and gone. So we cut to a scene where all the penguins are getting their pebbles ready, and Hubie is trying to do the same thing. He is looking for this pebble. He's trying to look for the perfect one, but every one that he finds, he feels like, no, this will not do. No, Maria wouldn't like this. No, this is not work. I would incorporate some of the things that happen there, like, he finds one pebble that he thinks is perfect, but some of the penguins wrestle it out of him. Just have that kind of deal. He's desperate for this. He wants to find that perfect one, but unfortunately, he could not seemingly find it. In the movie, he wishes upon a star, and then this pebble gem comes from space. We're not doing that. We're just not doing that, because it's weird beyond all measure. And I understand it's a Don Bluth film, but come on, it just doesn't make sense to me. They don't even explain it after that. It just does not fit, so let's not do that. Instead, he just randomly finds a gem that looks like a pebble, and to be honest, it's something that would naturally happen, because there are things you just can't explain where they've come from. So he finds that. He's looking for Marina, only to be thwarted by Drake. And of course, we get the Drake deal. Drake is one of those guys who, he doesn't get his hands dirty unless he feels like it's absolutely necessary. Obviously, he's tried these things where he's tried to ensure that Hubie does not find the perfect pebble, that he does not have any chance to marry Marina, and finally, he's reached a point where he just like, all right, now I have to get my hands dirty. Or maybe I should just try like Tim Gray. All right, well, I'll just have to get my hands dirty. And he throws Hubie off the edge. Nobody sees it. We'll explain why later on in the story. And Hubie is chased by a leopard seal into an iceberg that is at least a mile away from where his home is. So he's on that iceberg. Seal is just circling around that iceberg, and Marina is devastated at that. We'll get into that a little bit later. Now, back to the iceberg deal. The seal is circling around this iceberg, but then gets scared and swims away. He was thinking, okay, maybe this is a good chance for him to get away. Nope. Here's a ship that crashes into, or slightly crashes. We don't want it to seem like an Titanic kind of deal, but it's the iceberg. Hubie falls and gets captured by men. They throw him into a cage, and this is where we get introduced to a lot of the penguins that are there already captive, and this is where we get the song Good Ship Misery, which basically is a song where they talk about how, oh, you're stuck inside, it's a miserable time, everything like that. But I'm going to add a twist to this song, to which it ends where they talk about this nirvana that makes all the misery that they go through worth it. They talk about a place where food is always provided, where you have the best space. You just feel like you're in heaven, really. So they talk about that, but they don't go into that much more detail than that. I'll explain why just a bit. We do get the introduction of Rocco the Rockhopper, who he's also captured. He's thrown into a cage. He tries to get out as much as he can. He's trying to find somebody to, join him. Everybody, including Hubie, are just like, no, we're good. And they kind of think that he's a little crazy, which in all honesty works perfectly. Hubie is thinking, well, it's going to be fine. I'll go to this Nirvana, and maybe they'll have a place where they can help me, escape back home. He actually falls asleep during this, and this is where we get a specialty of Don Bluth. If you remember All Dogs Go to Heaven, Charlie has this nightmare in which he basically goes to hell, and there's just this wild animation, these wild creatures that are created. We're going to incorporate something like that, where Hubie is thinking about, him and Marina getting together, and it looks like they're about to be married, but we just see this big puff up, this big, black smoke just come out. And yes, you can maybe say it's an homage to Ferngully, Toxic Love. You could do that, it's fine. And it's revealed that Drake is what's standing between the two of them. And Hubie wakes up, and this is the motivation that tells him, I can't wait for this Nirvana. I have to get out of here quickly. And of course, during the whole conversations where he and Rocky are talking, one of the penguins slips up and says, well, I don't see what the rush is. I mean, we're so close to the Nirvana. We're getting so close to the zoo. And as soon as they say zoo, that's where Hubie's like, no, I'm getting out of here. No. He and Rocco do, in fact, escape, and they are swimming away. We cut to a scene in which Marina is on a ledge, on that same ledge, just waiting for Hubie. She has not eaten anything. She's not slept. She's kind of almost like this long-lost lover that is waiting for her love to come back. And she is talked to by different women penguin who are just saying, oh, you're going to find somebody else. You are fine. You're beautiful. And Marina's like, no, there's nobody else that I want more than Hubie. And a lot of these girl penguins can leave, but there can be one that says to her, that can just say to her that, hopefully you're right, that that he does come back. And this is where Drake tries to put the moves on Marina, and Marina at first is just saying, no, I'm loyal to Hubie. And Drake, of course, says, you just think about it. You know that there's going to be plenty of other penguins out here, but there's no one that's better than me. Now, Drake is still a little bit worried that Hubie may still come back. So, there's a scene in the original movie where Drake just talks to these birds, and that's it. They don't do anything. They're just kind of there. There's no purpose for them. We're putting a purpose for them here. Drake basically tells them, go into the sea and scour for that pitiful penguin Hubie and ensure that he never returns. And of course, they do so. And we can even have that little deal from the original where he just goes, Marina is mine. Because it's Tim fucking Curry. So then we go into the next scene, which is Hubie and Rocco. They awake on Hawaii. I'm definitely keeping that scene from the original where the two of them kind of get to know each other a little bit better. Hubie talks about how, every single moment he thinks of Marina. Ever since they were kids, he should have known that they were going to be together. But it wasn't until recently that he realized she's the one for him. You kind of embellish that story just a little bit more, and we eliminate that whole, space stone coming from the sky deal, because that was just weird. And I would also keep Rocco's dream of wanting to fly, because in all honesty, it's a bit of a weird dream, is also kind of funny. But Rocco, everybody knows penguins can't fly. You're wrong. You are dead wrong. Our ancestors fly. They give us wings. We can't fly. I mean, what kind of sick joke is that? I'm sorry, that's funny. That is funny. And James Belushi just plays that out so well. We keep a couple of the attempts by Rocco for wanting to fly. Hubie does mention that there's this penguin that he knows, Waldo. I might just change that name to something else. Maybe Walter. Maybe that's a name. Maybe that's a bit of a stretch. We're going to stick with Waldo for now. Who basically knows how to fly as a penguin. He lies to Rocco to help him get home. So we see Rocco and Hubie swimming from place to place. We get some nice music that would just be absolutely wonderful. And then we go into their first pit stop, which is an island in which Rocco thinks that he found this aviation aerial strip, which obviously people looking at it are like, what are you talking about? It basically looks like a ramp. That is literally what it is. So Rocco, again, he tries to fly. In this attempt, he actually hits the two bird minions of Drake. Unknowingly, mind you. But the birds slowly find out that, oh, this penguin is associated with Hubie, so they have to find a way to that. And obviously during the movie, they're going to do these deals to try to prevent Hubie from getting home, but it obviously backfires on them. It's a movie for kids. It's what you would expect. Bear with me. So we do get the same kind of argument where Hubie and Rocco, they're slowly starting to become friends, but Rocco is just very, very, very vocal about the fact he's like, I don't care. He has that line where he's like, I don't like you. I hate you. I just happen to hate killer whales a little bit more than you. That's all. Just keep that scene. Keep the lightning scene. It's always funny. We go from this and transfer over back to the island, I guess you could say the iceberg, land patch, whatever it was, home for Hubie, Marina. And Marina, again, she's still on that same ledge. She's still hopeful. From afar, we hear Drake doing his song of Don't Make Me Laugh. And he, again, tries to, persuade Marina. Marina refuses again. But he doesn't sing the song to Marina. He sings it to his minions. Basically, he's in this denial stage that he thinks that he's going to end up with the Marina at the end of the day, basically. So he keeps that song, which I still think is a really good song. Marina is still filled with hope. She's hoping that Hubie does, in fact, come back. Which brings us back to Rocco and Hubie. They swim. They find this hole in which we see them, chase krill, but are chased out by a seal. We see, kind of the action that Rocco does, and Hubie wishes that he could be as strong as Rocco can. And Rocco says, hey, if you're going to fight for the honor of your lady, and if this guy Drake is as tough as you say he is, you need to learn to fight. So we get a bit of a combination of what we see in the movie. In the movie, we see a highlight deal where Hubie and Rocco kind of train to teach Hubie how to fight, that kind of deal. We're combining that with the song Looks Like I Got a Friend. I know it seems weird, but this is one of those things where it makes sense because you're having this song play as they're slowly bonding. We see a little bit of Rocco's, barriers and walls slowly come down. He talks about, why he's tough. He talks about why he's very seemingly like cold, not exactly cold-hearted, but definitely very, very, I'm trying to think of like the right word for this. He's one of those guys where he basically shows that he has these barriers for a reason, that he doesn't want to get hurt again. So we combine, like I said, the song here where Hubie can make some cracks. I loved some of the jokes that they had where it's like, hey, what do you call a flower before it opens? A bud. I love it when you call me bud. It's like, oh, jeez. And then there's another one. I caught you a herring. Where should I put it? Put it there. Put it there. All right. Just have that. Just have the chemistry build off during this song, but also have like a couple of scenes where Rocco, again, lowers his defenses to Hubie, and we get a little bit more explanation as to why Rocco is the way that he is. For him, he's been hurt by his own clan, so much so that they actually ousted him out from the island. So he basically thinks, if I don't, let anybody in, I can't get hurt again. That's how it is. And there's a point where we see Hubie and Marina have a split screen deal, and they sing this new duet, because I really do think that the voice of Marina definitely did get ripped off. It did not get a good song. This is where I would incorporate her song into this. Have her be like the main vocal lead, and Hubie kind of adds a little bit of background, but also intertwines with this duet, where they talk about finding love and how what's lost could soon be found one day. And after that's over, we just hear Rocco talking about Waldo. And Hubie is worried about, this whole deal about what's going to happen when Rocco finds out about this. But he thinks, you know what, I'm just going to reveal this once we get back, because by that point, I'll be home and it'll be fine. Maybe by then, Rocco won't be so mad in his mind. But unbeknownst to him, the minions reveal about Waldo's existence being a fraud. Somehow they relay it over to Rocco. Maybe they just start talking to him and Rocco tries to fight him a bit. And then he slowly just starts thinking, what if they're right? So he confronts Hubie about it. Maybe he even has like a ploy where he's just like, hey, that Waldo guy, how tall did you say he was? And Hubie, there starts being like little holes in his story. And Rocco is smart. He realizes he's not being honest with me. So it reaches a point where the two of them get into a bit of an argument. Rocco is ready to leave, but this is where we get the killer whales. And the killer whales are chasing Rocco. They're chasing Hubie. They're really just trying to munch on them because, that's what killer whales do. They're not like Shamu where they're just going to be friendly. Anyway, so we see the two of them escaping. There's one point where Hubie actually drops his pebble, and Rocco, he actually grabs Hubie and basically just tells him, hey, Marina loves you, not the pebble. You have to realize that. No matter what, she loves you. She doesn't love an object. She loves the penguin that you are. He basically gives him that kind of tough love that Hubie needs to realize. And Hubie realizes, okay, we're going to do that. So we have a great chase scene there in which, unfortunately, it seems like Rocco actually gets killed during this chase. Hubie has just a small moment where he grieves, and then he looks over and he realizes he's almost home. And lucky for him, at that point, Drake says, one more time, Marina, just marry me. Know that he's never coming back. You belong to me. And Marina, she slowly lowers herself, and she is just about ready to say yes until Hubie comes back. And Drake is like, Hubie, you've returned. My word. I honestly thought that you would have been killed by a seal. And Hubie, of course, accuses Drake of what? Of basically trying to commit penguin murder, basically. And Drake denies, like, I never did such a thing. And it's not until there is a certain point where Hubie actually calls Drake out for a hole in his story, and that's where Drake reveals, I did. I wanted to make sure that the weak were out of my way, so that way Marina could be with somebody who is strong. So we get a fight sequence between Drake and Hubie, just like in the original. One first shot, boom, Hubie seemingly gets knocked out and basically grabs Marina, takes and starts taking her away. We get that scene in the original where Hubie has that scene of like, I didn't swim 3,000 miles and lose my best buddy to the likes of you. But I would change the presentation of the line that he has in there, because what he says is, Drake, come on, take your best shot. I'm going to change that because he already did give him his best shot. So instead I would have him say, Drake, come on, is that all you got? And we have the classic, wahoo, from Rocco. Hubie and Drake, they fight. They have a nice back and forth between the two of them, and it looks like Drake seemingly is going to take him down, but we see Rocco make a return and does like a nice like headbutt to the gut of Drake. Drake gets stunned for a bit, and he was like, Rocco, you're alive. It's like, you don't think some killer whales are going to keep me down? I don't think so. So it seems like Rocco and Hubie are going to work together, but the bird minions actually grab Rocco and they take him away, so that way it is a one-on-one between Drake and Hubie. The two of them fight. Hubie finds the motivation, he finds the courage to finally punch Drake, knocking him into the abyss deal, which unfortunately for Drake, he hits a rock that falls the same rate that he does, sending Drake to a very deadly kind of Land Before Time like death. I know it's kind of weird to be ripping off some of these movies from Don Bluth, but at the same time there's so much good stuff from those movies. It just really makes sense. So we see the structure that Drake had, it starts caving in, and Hubie has Rocco and Marina by both hands. He's basically hanging on for dear life. He's like, I'm not going to lose you both. I'm not going to lose you both again. And he's slowly starting to lose his leverage, really, to keep him pulling up. So Rocco thinks, Hubie, you've been a good friend to me. Now it's time for me to return the favor. And he basically forces Hubie to let go, and Rocco falls. And in that moment, it seems like he is going to perish, but somehow he finds the right kind of wing speed, and Rocco is able to fly. Of course, the flying minions are thinking it's time to finish the job, but this is where Rocco comes in, bam, knocks out the flying minions, and gets Hubie and Marina to safety, to which we could have a great moment to where Hubie's like, Rocco, you can fly. It's like, well, like I said, I just need the right amount of wing speed, Hubie. And it seems like they're going to give each other a hug, but then Rocco goes, wham, bashes Hubie in the face. And Rocco says, that's for Waldo. Then he picks him up, gives him a real hug, and we see Hubie and Marina get married. And again, she has that line of, it's not the pebble, it's the penguin. Because Rocco found that pebble and realized that part of tradition is to exchange pebbles. So, gives it to Hubie, who gives it to Marina, and they have that moment to be married. And just because it kind of works, we have that nice deal where we have the reprise of Now and Forever, we show Marina and Hubie have babies, and they've been taught to fly by Rocco, and they have Santa Claus hats because it's apparently a Christmas movie. Yes, I'm making Pebble and the Penguin a Christmas movie. So that is how I would write Pebble and the Penguin. Honestly, it's one of those movies I feel like I cheated a little bit because I literally took a lot of the ideas from the original movie, but I also expanded on them more. You definitely see Hubie more as a likable character. You see a little bit more with Rocco. Drake has a clear motivation, and of course, it's one that Tim Curry can pull off amazingly because it's Tim frickin' fucking Curry, damn it. And we see a song by Marina that a lot of people were kind of hoping for, and she would get in this movie. And honestly, one of the things I do like is that it doesn't incorporate too much in the way of songs. It did feel like in the original they just had like 3 scenes, song, 3 scenes, song, 3 scenes, song. Here I staggered them out a little bit more and focused more on some of the songs that really could have gotten more attention. And I gave those songs a bit more purpose. They didn't just pop up out of nowhere. And honestly, I think it does create for a better story. That's just my opinion, but I'd love to know your opinion. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that the Pebble and the Penguin should just stay the same? Would you go with my direction on it? Or do you guys have your own ideas for it? Please let me know in the comment section. Let me know what you guys thought of Pebble and the Penguin. Does it maybe even need to just get a full-on reboot? Is it one of those movies that needs a reboot? But yeah, let me know. You can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at RealFNGame. You can check out this podcast on every single podcast format that you can think of, including iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Google Apps, Google Podcasts, everything that you need. You can also check out the merchandise. Got that. And yeah, honestly, I'm looking forward to creating more of these podcasts, and I really do love doing these rewrites. These are things that give me a little bit more incentive to create them, but it also gives me a little bit more creative power because I think that some of these movies definitely deserve a little bit more. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Let me guys know what you think, and I will talk to you guys next time. Remember that you can be a game changer, and it only takes one moment to change the game. Have a good one, you guys. See you later.